God says that right now, in this moment, your spirit is being pulled toward something you cannot see with your physical eyes, but your soul knows it is real. God is whispering to you with the kind of urgency that shakes the invisible foundation of your life, urging you not to delay, not to hesitate, not to close this message or push it aside. God says, "My child, I am calling you because something is unfolding around you quickly, and I need you to listen. I need you to feel my presence. I need you to stay steady, because what I am revealing right now will shift something deep inside your heart." God says that for the past few days, your angels have been working tirelessly, especially Archangel Michael, who has been standing beside you even when you felt alone, even when your heart was heavy, even when the path ahead looked uncertain. Michael has been watching the spiritual storm that formed around you, trying to keep you from receiving this message, trying to distract you, trying to delay you, trying to make you doubt the voice of God. But God says, Michael fought for this message to reach you. He begged me to speak to you in a way that your heart will not ignore. God says that Michael is standing beside you right now, and his energy is trembling because he has seen what is coming toward you. He knows the truth that has been hidden from you for too long, and he knows how long you have suffered silently while pretending to be strong. He sees how many nights you cried into your pillow, not wanting anyone to hear, not wanting anyone to know that inside you were carrying battles no one else understood. God says, "My child, you've been trying to survive battles that were never yours to fight alone. And now I am stepping in." Archangel Michael says that your heart has been tested in ways that would have broken the average person. Yet you kept going. You stayed kind. You stayed loyal. You stayed patient, even when people around you gave you every reason to lose faith. Michael says that heaven has witnessed every tear, every disappointment, every sacrifice you made, every moment you were mistreated, every time someone tried to take advantage of your goodness. He says that nothing has been ignored. Nothing has been forgotten. God says that there is a reason this message came to you at this exact moment and not a second later. He says that the timing is divine because something in your life is shifting before the clock strikes 9. God says, "I am begging you to open your heart before 9 p.m. because what I am about to reveal will touch your soul so deeply that it will move you to tears." God says it is not a threat, not a warning meant to create fear, but a divine plea filled with love and urgency because something precious is forming in the spiritual realm, something that will change the trajectory of your life. God says that someone has been thinking about you more intensely than you know. Someone has been carrying guilt, fear, and a truth they were afraid to speak. This person knows they owe you an apology, a confession, a revelation. They know they hurt you in ways you didn't deserve. They know they took your softness for granted. But now God is stirring their soul, pushing them into a corner where they can no longer run from the truth. God says, "This person is coming forward, and what they say will shake you." Not in a painful way, but in a way that finally brings closure, clarity, and justice. Archangel Michael says that for a long time, someone around you has been hiding something important. They kept a secret because they feared losing you. They feared exposure. They feared that once you saw the truth, you would walk away forever. But God says that He is no longer allowing this truth to remain hidden. God is exposing it because the weight of this secret was never meant for you to carry blindly. God says, "My child, I need you to breathe. I need you to be still. Because you are closer to your breakthrough than you realize." God says you have been feeling strange lately, a mix of anxiety, anticipation, sudden sadness, sudden hope, because your soul can sense the shift even before your mind understands it. Your angels have been whispering to you in dreams, signs, repeated numbers, strange coincidences, moments that feel like déjà vu. These are not random moments. These are divine signals. Archangel Michael says that your spiritual sensitivity has increased so much that you can now feel when someone is thinking about you, when someone is speaking about you, when someone is watching your journey from afar. He says that someone regrets losing you, regrets hurting you, regrets not choosing you sooner. They are drowning in thoughts of you, even if they pretend otherwise. Michael says this person is being spiritually pushed toward you because the truth must come out, because the divine timeline cannot be delayed any longer. God says that the enemy tried to block your blessings by sending confusion, misunderstandings, delays, financial stress, emotional heaviness, unexpected chaos. The enemy hoped you would give up before you reached this moment. But you didn't. You kept going even when your heart felt tired. You kept going even when nothing made sense. You kept going even when you felt like breaking down. And because you remained faithful, because you kept believing even when you had no evidence, God says, "Now I am about to reward you in ways that will make your heart overflow." God says He knows how long you have been waiting for good news, waiting for answers, waiting for relief, waiting for someone to finally love you the way you deserve. He knows how many disappointments you've endured. He knows how many times you almost walked away from your own dreams because you felt unsupported or unappreciated. But God says this season is changing. He says, the door that was shut in your face is about to open so wide that no one will ever be able to close it again. Archangel Michael says you have angels assigned specifically to you, and they have been sent to remove obstacles from your path. They are clearing away negative energy, toxic people, and hidden enemies. Michael says that someone around you who pretended to care was secretly wishing against your success. This person smiled in your face but held jealousy in their heart. They spoke sweetly, but inwardly they hoped you would fail. God says He is exposing this now because you deserve to know who is truly with you. God says, "My child, I have seen the people who betrayed you. I have seen the ones who underestimated you. I have seen the ones who used you. I have seen the ones who lied on your name. And I have seen the ones who took your kindness for weakness." But God says forgiveness does not mean allowing these people access again. It means freeing yourself from the weight of what they did. And now that God is removing them from your path, He is making room for people who will cherish you, value you, protect you, and uplift you. Archangel Michael says that your heart is heavy because you've been carrying wounds you never fully healed from. You tried to be strong for everyone else. You tried to hide your pain. You tried to act like nothing bothered you. But Michael says your soul has been crying for comfort, crying for clarity, crying for a sign that things will finally get better. And God says, this message is your sign. God says that right now, within this very moment, a shift is happening in your spiritual atmosphere. While you read these words, heaven is moving. Angels are standing around you. Light is being released into your home, into your mind, into your heart. Darkness is fleeing from you. Confusion is being removed. Fear is being broken. God is touching the wounds you don't talk about, the worries you hide, the loneliness you bury inside. He is healing you piece by piece, layer by layer, without you even realizing it. God says He is preparing something for you that will exceed your expectations. He says that the blessing coming is not ordinary, it is divine, unexpected, overwhelming. It is designed specifically for your heart, your journey, your pain, your purpose. God says the blessing that is coming will make you cry, not from sadness but from relief, gratitude, and awe. God says, you have cried enough tears of pain. Now you will cry tears of joy. Archangel Michael says that you are entering a divine season where everything that was withheld from you is being returned multiplied. Opportunities you thought you lost are coming back. People who left you are realizing what they lost. Doors that were closed are now swinging open. Michael says that God is restoring everything, your confidence, your strength, your joy, your peace, your clarity. God says, before 9 p.m. tonight, something in your spirit will shift. He says you will feel a sudden wave of peace, or a moment of clarity, or an unexpected sign, or a sudden intuitive knowing that something big is approaching. God says this is confirmation that heaven is working behind the scenes. He says, this message will not stay with you forever. It will vanish, but the blessing attached to it will not. God says you are safe. He says no harm will come to you. He says you are protected, shielded, guarded by angels. He says every plan formed against you is being dismantled. He says every trap meant for you will fail. He says your steps are being guided. He says your future is secure in His hands. God says this is your moment. This is your divine timing. This is your breakthrough season. And nothing and no one can stop what He is about to do for you. My child, God says He has been watching you since the moment your spirit first breathed into this world, and today He says this message could not wait another second. God says He is speaking through the voice of Archangel Michael right now, and both heaven and the highest realm of angels are standing behind you this very moment. They say they have tried quietly, gently, subtly, to get your attention for days. But tonight the message could no longer be whispered. Heaven says they are begging you to open this message before 9 p.m. because something in the spiritual realm shifted for you today, something heaven has been preparing you for, and something that will make you cry, not from fear, but from the overwhelming truth that God has never abandoned you for even 1 second. God says the reason He is begging you is because He knows your heart, He knows your doubts, He knows the questions you've been carrying, the secret battles you haven't spoken about, the silent wars you fought in the middle of the night even when no one stood with you, and He knows how close you came to giving up on yourself. But heaven says they refuse to let you walk into the next part of your destiny without knowing the truth that is being revealed right now. God says the reason this message feels urgent is because something that was delayed in your life for years finally broke open in the last 24 hours. Heaven says the chains holding back your blessing have snapped, and the thing that was hidden from you, the thing that someone tried to block or delay or confuse, has been exposed in front of God's light. Archangel Michael says you were never meant to suffer in silence the way you did, but he also says every tear, every heartbreak, every betrayal, every moment of loneliness, every misunderstanding, every setback had a purpose, and that purpose is coming to light right here, right now. God says this is why He needs you to hear this now, because you have reached a divine turning point, a moment heaven has been preparing for you for years, and the next steps you take will shape everything that comes next. God says He knows you have been asking, why me? Why is this happening? Why do I feel like I'm walking through storms without cover? And He says the answer is here. You were chosen. You were marked. You were anointed. You were separated from the crowd without even realizing it. You thought you were normal, ordinary, unnoticed, forgotten, but heaven says the entire time, your name has been echoing through the walls of the spiritual realm. God says your prayers did not disappear, your cries did not go unheard, your faith did not go unnoticed. God says He collected every tear, every broken piece, every disappointment, every unanswered question, and He is using them all to write a testimony for your life that is going to touch nations. Archangel Michael says someone tried to spiritually silence you. Someone tried to make you doubt your worth. Someone tried to push you into fear, confusion, or self-blame. Heaven says someone underestimated the power of your spirit. Someone did not expect you to survive what was meant to destroy you. Someone thought if they kept hurting you, you would eventually lose your light, but God says not only did you survive, but you are rising stronger than ever. God says the reason He is begging you to open this before 9 p.m. is because someone in the spiritual world who tried to block your blessing just got exposed, and heaven needs you to be aware of the shift before it reaches your physical life. God says the reason you will cry when you hear what heaven is revealing is because you have been carrying things you should have never had to carry alone. You were trying to be strong for everyone even when you were breaking inside. You were trying to smile when your heart was bleeding. You were trying to keep peace when others were bringing chaos into your world. You were trying to hold on to people God was trying to remove. You were trying to love people who didn't see the value of your soul. Heaven says it hurt you, But God also says He is proud of you because you chose love even when others chose selfishness. You chose honesty when others chose lies. You chose faith when others chose fear. God says you have no idea how heaven talks about you. Angels mention your name with admiration. Your resilience is discussed like a miracle. Your kindness is acknowledged like a rare treasure. Archangel Michael says, if only you could see yourself the way heaven sees you, you would never doubt your worth again. God says you have underestimated your light for too long, and tonight He is breaking that limitation completely. God says the reason this message is urgent is because your blessing is not on the way, it is already here. Something has already been released. Something has already been approved. Something has already been signed with your name on it. God says what was stolen is returning, what was delayed is accelerating, what was hidden is being revealed, and what was impossible is becoming possible. But heaven says you must understand what is happening in your spirit so that you do not sabotage the blessing through fear or doubt. God says for too long, you carried fear that something bad would happen to you. You imagined worst-case scenarios. You worried about loss, betrayal, accidents, rejection, and failure. You felt like danger was close even when nothing was happening. God says that wasn't your intuition, it was spiritual interference. But Archangel Michael says the interference has been destroyed. The fear has been severed. The spiritual attack has been silenced. And now that heaven has cleared the path, your blessing is rushing toward you with a speed you are not prepared for. God says someone who once ignored you will remember your name out of nowhere. Someone who once mistreated you will wish they had valued you sooner. Someone who once took you for granted will regret it deeply. But God says you will not feel anger, you will feel peace. You will feel distance. You will feel release. Because God is taking you into a chapter where you will rise so high that nothing from your past will be able to reach you. Archangel Michael says he has been fighting for you even when you had no idea. He says there is something that tried to weigh your spirit down, something that tried to steal your joy, something that tried to bring confusion to your path. But today he says very clearly, it has been defeated. Heaven says the battle you have been feeling in your mind, your emotions, your dreams, your energy, your relationships, it has ended. You will see the signs very soon. God says someone is about to confess something. Something that was hidden from you. Something that involved your name. Something that was meant to harm you, delay you, or make you question your worth. Heaven says the truth is coming, and when you hear it, you will cry, not because of the betrayal, but because God shielded you from worse. He says He protected you even when you didn't realize danger was near. He says He blocked an attack that could have broken your spirit completely. Archangel Michael says you were surrounded by angels while someone tried to spiritually manipulate your destiny. But heaven says you are safe. You were always safe. Nothing will go wrong with you. God says He placed a wall of fire around you so strong that no weapon formed against you could even get close. God says you are stepping into a divine reversal. Everything that worked against you will now work for you. Everything that was lost will return multiplied. Everything that broke you will become your strength. Everything that confused you will make sense in a divine way. God says you are stepping into a season where you will not chase blessings, they will chase you. Opportunities will look for you. Doors will open for you without effort. People will come into your life to help you without you asking. God says you are entering a chapter of effortless miracles. Heaven says this is happening because you did not give up. You kept believing even when every sign told you to stop. You kept praying even when you thought no one was listening. You kept fighting even when your spirit was tired. God says your faith touched heaven. Your heart moved angels. Your honesty opened a divine portal. Heaven says you have no idea how powerful your spirit is. God says He is about to surprise you. Something unexpected is coming. Something life-changing. Something heaven has prepared for a long time. Something you thought was impossible. God says He is about to show you why He needed you to survive every storm. Because now, your blessing will be so big, so undeniable, so miraculous, that everyone will know it was Him. God says you will cry tears of relief. Tears of joy. Tears of healing. Tears of release. He says He is touching the places inside you that people wounded. He is healing the parts of you that you hid from everyone. He is restoring your heart, your spirit, your strength, your faith. God says He is sending peace to your soul in a way you have never felt before. Archangel Michael says he is assigning new angels to you, angels of protection, angels of abundance, angels of healing, angels of clarity. Heaven says your path is lighting up. Your name is rising. Your life is shifting. Your blessing is unfolding. God says nothing will go wrong with you. You are safe. You are protected. You are chosen. You are blessed. And He says this is only the beginning. God says that sometimes a moment arrives in your life that feels unreal, unexpected, and too big for your hands to hold, and yet heaven whispers that this moment is specifically crafted for you, shaped for your destiny, and aligned with the path you were meant to walk. Archangel Michael steps forward right now, his voice trembling not with fear but with deep, overwhelming urgency, saying that he is begging for just 1 minute of your attention because heaven is setting something in motion around you that carries both blessing and responsibility. There is something heaven wants you to receive, something heaven has been preparing for you silently, quietly, patiently, and today, right now, that blessing begins to rise toward you like a wave of divine abundance. Impossible to stop. Impossible to resist, and impossible to block unless you choose to look away and ignore the call. Michael's voice calls out to your spirit, telling you that what is scheduled to enter your life tonight at 9 p.m. is not ordinary money, not something earned by chance, not something coming from a random path, but something divinely authorized. Something heaven signed, something that carries the vibration of justice, restoration, and divine compensation. He says that the amount being released toward you, $55 million, is not just a number, not just currency, not just wealth, but a symbol of your divine turnaround, a sign of heaven's decision that you have suffered enough, waited enough, cried enough, prayed enough, and endured enough storms that tried to break your spirit but failed every single time. God says that this blessing is not arriving by accident, and it is not arriving by mistake. It is arriving because heaven has studied your heart, watched your battles, observed your patience, and counted the nights when you stayed strong even when you felt completely alone. God says that you underestimate how much strength you carry, how much goodness you embody, and how much divine protection surrounds you every single day, even when you cannot feel it, even when you doubt it, even when life pushes you so hard that you question whether heaven even remembers your name. God says heaven remembers everything. Heaven remembers every time you tried to do good even when you were tired. Heaven remembers every time someone hurt you and you still kept your heart kind. Heaven remembers every time you chose honesty over shortcuts, faith over fear, hope over despair. Michael steps closer to your spirit, saying that the reason he is begging for your 1 minute is because a divine flow is about to touch your life and he doesn't want you to miss it. He doesn't want you to turn away from this moment, not even for a second, because angels have already begun organizing this blessing behind the scenes, and if you ignore this message, you may interrupt the flow that heaven has so carefully prepared. He is not threatening you, he is warning you gently but firmly, as a protector who loves you, that divine timing requires spiritual attentiveness. He says that sometimes blessings come with windows, and today's window opens at 9 p.m., a moment heaven has chosen because your energy, your destiny, and your future align perfectly at that hour. God says he knows how many times life has disappointed you, how many times promises were broken, how many times people made you believe something good was coming but nothing arrived. God says he knows how much doubt you carry, how much fear surrounds you, how much uncertainty tries to sit in your mind and whisper negativity. But God also says that this message is different. This moment is different. This blessing is different. Because this one is not coming from people. It is not coming from anyone who could betray you. It is not coming from anyone who could play with your emotions. It is coming directly from heaven, directly from God, directly from the divine flow that cannot be stopped by jealousy, cannot be blocked by enemies, cannot be reversed by negativity, and cannot be taken away by any human hand. Michael says he has watched your journey, watched you fight battles silently while keeping a brave face, watched you carry burdens that would have broken someone else, watched you stay soft-hearted even when the world tried to turn you cold. He says that heaven treasures your heart, your honesty, your purity, and your resilience, and that is why this blessing is coming to you. Not as a reward for perfection, but as recognition of endurance. Not because you never made mistakes, but because you always came back to God. Not because you lived a life without pain, but because you learned how to trust God even in your pain. God says that tonight at 9 p.m., a shift will happen around you that will feel almost surreal because it carries the energy of sudden elevation, sudden breakthrough, sudden abundance. It is the moment where what was blocked becomes unblocked, where what was delayed becomes released, where what was hidden becomes revealed, and where what was taken from you begins returning multiplied. God says that you will feel something in your spirit at that hour, a pull, a stirring, a divine warmth, because your soul will recognize what your mind cannot yet understand. Michael says that the reason he is begging you, pleading for your attention, asking you not to ignore this, is because someone once tried to block your blessing. Someone once tried to interfere with your destiny. Someone once tried to dim the light that God placed inside you. Someone once tried to distort your path so that you would never reach the level you were meant to reach. But heaven saw everything, and heaven is now reversing everything. Tonight's blessing is part of that reversal. It is heaven restoring what was stolen, repairing what was damaged, healing what was broken, and elevating what was suppressed. God says He knows you have lived years feeling like your breakthroughs were always behind a locked door. You stood there knocking, waiting, hoping, believing, but the door never opened. God says that tonight is the night that door opens, not because of your strength, but because of His decree. Heaven's authority outranks every blockage, every delay, every barrier, and every enemy. When God says yes, nothing and no one can say no. Michael says he has been fighting battles in the spiritual realm for you, battles you never saw, dangers you never realized, attacks you never felt because He shielded you. He says that every time you felt an unexpected calm during chaos, it was Him standing between you and the storm. Every time you woke up with sudden peace after a night of anxiety, it was Him guarding your dreams. Every time a disaster narrowly missed you, every time a danger turned away from you, every time a plan against you collapsed mysteriously, He was the one removing the threat, pushing away the darkness, clearing your path so that today's blessing could eventually reach you. God says you are safe. God says nothing will go wrong for you. God says the blessing coming tonight is meant for you and only you, and it carries a divine seal that no one can break. God says to trust Him. Trust His timing, trust His protection, trust His plan, and trust the angel He assigned to guard your destiny. Michael says he has never raised his voice to you, never demanded anything from you, never pushed you. But today he speaks with urgency because he sees what is approaching your life, and he doesn't want you to miss it. He says that if you ignore this message, it's not that God will punish you. God does not punish the innocent, but your spirit may disconnect from the divine timing set for this blessing. That is why he is pleading, not because God is angry, but because He doesn't want you to lose what is already yours. God says this blessing is going to change your life. Not in a small way, not in a gradual way, but in a dramatic, undeniable, supernatural way. The financial breakthrough coming is only the beginning. It is the doorway. Behind it lies emotional healing, spiritual renewal, unexpected opportunities, divine connections, and a new chapter of stability, peace, and joy. God says He is not just giving you money, He is giving you freedom. Freedom from stress, freedom from fear, freedom from limitations, freedom from the weight that has been on your chest for too long. Michael says to prepare your spirit. He says to breathe, to calm your heart, to trust what heaven is doing. He says that sometimes the biggest blessings arrive quietly, and sometimes they arrive with urgency. But they always arrive right on time. Tonight at 9 p.m. is your time, your moment, your divine alignment. He says to remain open, to remain connected, to remain present with God, because heaven is working at full speed behind the scenes for you. God says He is with you. God says He will guide you. God says He will protect you. God says He will bless you in ways you cannot imagine. God says this blessing is your turning point, the moment your life begins shifting in the direction He always intended for you. Michael whispers one last message into your spirit: do not fear, do not doubt, do not step back. Trust what is coming. Trust what heaven is releasing. Trust what God has written for you. Tonight, your blessing arrives. Tonight, your breakthrough begins. Tonight, everything changes. God says that in this moment, as you open your heart even slightly, a divine current is moving toward you, a current that has been waiting for your attention, your awareness, and your willingness to finally receive what has been trying to reach you for so long. Archangel Michael says, I am begging for your 1 minute because heaven has aligned something unimaginable for you, something so enormous that even the angels paused when it was written into your destiny. There is a moment today, a sacred, divine, irreversible moment, when the financial chains that held you down are being shattered. And a blessing that has been locked behind spiritual doors is being released by force. And as you read these words, God surrounds you with a presence that is both gentle and fierce, a presence that refuses to let you fall, refuses to let you miss what heaven has prepared for you. This message does not come to scare you, it comes to strengthen you, realign you, and prepare you for something that has been measured, written, protected, and delivered directly into your life. Archangel Michael says, you will receive money, not small money, not symbolic money, but a real financial breakthrough, $55 million. Prepared to enter your life today at 9 p.m. This is not random. This is not an accident. This is not a coincidence. This is divine timing meeting divine intervention. Heaven has been watching the weight on your shoulders, the unseen battles you fought when nobody believed in you, the moments when you stayed strong even though your heart was trembling, the nights when you prayed quietly because you were afraid of being disappointed, and the days when you kept going even when life felt unfair and heavy. None of that was ignored. None of that was wasted. None of that was forgotten. God does not overlook tears, and God does not ignore silent suffering. Every drop of pain you carried has been counted as a seed, and today is a day of harvest. Archangel Michael is standing beside you in this moment, whispering urgently, please, do not ignore this. I am begging for your 1 minute because your destiny is standing at your door, knocking loudly, asking to be let in. I am telling you that if you ignore this, if you dismiss this calling, you will lose the blessing that has already reached your spiritual address. It is already in your name. It is already sent. It is already yours. The only thing heaven needs is your attention and your willingness to receive. Michael has guarded you through storms you didn't even know were meant to destroy you. He has cut away energies that tried to drain you. He has pushed away hands that tried to harm you. He has lifted you when you were spiritually collapsing. And today, all He asks is 1 minute of your openness, your faith, your willingness to allow heaven into your situation. God says that this $55 million is not just money. It is restoration. It is compensation. It is repayment for every loss, every betrayal, every moment you were overlooked, every time someone else received something meant for you, every door that shut in your face, every opportunity that slipped away not because you were unworthy but because timing wasn't aligned. This money is not coming to burden you or confuse you. It is coming to elevate you, empower you, and shift your entire life into a season of stability, growth, and divine abundance. Michael says, heaven is not guessing. Heaven is not hoping. Heaven has decided. And when heaven decides, nothing on earth can undo it. But the angels also see something else, your tendency to doubt, to overthink, to pull away when blessing gets close. They see the fear that comes when something feels too big, too good, too sudden. And Michael is saying, please, do not let fear steal this from you. Do not let doubt close the door. You are not losing anything, you are gaining everything. You are not risking anything, you are stepping into what has been yours all along. God says you are safe. You are protected. Nothing will go wrong with you. Nothing will collapse around you. Nothing will be taken from you. In fact, this blessing is coming to break the cycle of loss that has repeated in your life for years. This is why God keeps whispering, trust me. Pray to me. Stay with me. Because prayer is not just words, prayer is confirmation. Prayer is your signature on the blessing. Prayer is your acceptance of heaven's delivery. Prayer is the moment when the spiritual blessing crosses into the physical world. God says the reason this message feels urgent is because timing is extremely important right now. Something is aligning at 9 p.m., something that was written for this date, this hour, this season of your life. You are not reading this by mistake, not by chance, not by coincidence. The angels guided your eyes here because they needed you to be awake. Aware, prepared, and spiritually positioned, Michael says, you have suffered enough. You have waited enough. You have struggled enough. You have cried enough. Heaven is not watching you break anymore. Heaven is lifting you. There is something happening behind the scenes right now, an approval, a clear